We have so many cost drivers in the city. I wish I could promise my constituents that I will never have to raise your taxes. But the reality is we have so many needs. And so, for example, if we were to pass a budget at the effective tax rate, there are very big things that couldn't happen. We couldn't finish the new library. We possibly couldn't fund some of the police officer positions that are desperately needed. We couldn't open the new fire station in Onion Creek. We couldn't finish that fire station and open that much needed fire station in Onion Creek. The other issue is there are key stakeholders that are consistently advocating for our lower income community, and they weren't at the table for any of this discussion of this plan. Austin Interfaith spoke today saying they weren't at the table for this plan. Several labor organizations spoke today that they were not at the table for this plan. And these are organizations that represent our most vulnerable, our middle class families. And to have those families who feel the pinch the most of affordability not at the table for an action plan to address affordability, I just don't think it's ready. There was no environmental groups at the table. To my knowledge, there were no neighborhood groups at the table. I've heard a couple of times, please start addressing this and stop talking about it. As somebody who's worked really hard my first 2 years in office, that's not a true statement. We have done so much to address affordability. Just because we don't have an action plan right now doesn't mean we haven't done things. My office has put together a list of things that we have done to address affordability. And I'm not going to go through that entire list because it's 2 pages, and those are just things that we could think of. There are other council members that I'm sure could add to that list. But to the parents who were able to depend on a parent support specialist now, to the mother who was able to use the child care funding that we were able to fund, I think they would say we've been addressing affordability. Adding money to our tenant relocation fund. I think every vote that we have taken and pushed developers to add more affordable housing to developments and said, you know what, 5% is not enough, give us 10. I think all those future families who will benefit living in affordable housing think that we have done something for affordable. So I'm sorry that so many think that we have done nothing and that we've just used it as a talking point, but that is in fact not true. We have worked really hard to address affordability. In fact, it was the #1 thing on everyone's campaign. It has been the #1 thing everyone did. The first thing I did was create the Regional Affordability Committee that has been working and bringing together coalitions to try to solve this issue. It ignores the fact that half of our taxes that we pay are not City of Austin. It's a problem that the legislature has not been able to fix by reforming our public education system. I know people are concerned that their tax bills are raising, but we cannot blame it all on the City of Austin. There are other taxing agencies. We send $400 million back to the state because of recapture, because our legislature has not been able to reform our public education. So much of our money goes back to the state.